All right, welcome back to the Blackburn View. We are previewing Blackburn's game against Ipswich Town this Good Friday. We're also going to look back on the Middlesbrough game. We'll talk about ticket prices for Leeds and just whether or not this managerial change has had the impact that all Rovers fans thought it was going to have. We're going to do that with resident Rovers fan Harry. How are you, Harry?
Hello, mate.
And we've got, as a guest on the Blackburn View, our resident Ipswich Town fan Ian. Good evening, Ian.
Hi, good evening, Mark. Good evening, Harry.
Good evening.
You're looking forward to your trip to Ewood Park. It's not a happy ground for Ipswich Town, Ian, is it?
Not recently, although I still think back to that time where Blackburn had the SES up front and Richard Wright just pulled off the most amazing display of goalkeeping to the point that Shearer declared that Richard Wright would never have another game like that. So, yeah, it's a long way to go, though. So,
catch up with you in a second. Harry, how are you? Fresh back from the Riverside? Well, fresh back from the Riverside. It's been a couple of weeks, but what did you make of the 0-0 draw?
Yeah, well, much improved, I have to say. I think we spoke at length about how Eustace's tactics differ. They're sort of chalk and cheese to what John Del Thomason offered us. John Del Thomason wanted to play this high possession, fast paced, high press football. Eustace is the complete opposite of that, and it takes a long time to sort of bring in a new style. You can't just make that change overnight. You'd like to have a pre-season. We didn't get that opportunity, so it's been times where it's felt like the players have struggled to get up to scratch with how Eustace wants to play. But I thought on against Middlesbrough, we really blended in the two different styles. We played some good possession football, had some good passes, made good play in good areas. But when the opportunity was there to go direct, we played that as well. Best I've seen us play probably since the Newcastle game. I think we were unlucky, maybe not to get something more out of it. I don't think Middlesbrough offered too much, but a point against a decent side like Middlesbrough is a step in the right direction, I like to think.
Yeah, is it becoming concerning though? It's nine matches now without a win. Draws are great, but you're still only 3 points above that drop. I know there's a couple of teams in between you, but it's got to start winning games, haven't you?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's one win in the last 17, which somehow still makes us, I think, the fifth most informed side in the championship. I don't know. That's a real bizarre thing going on. Yeah, we need to start picking up 3 points here or there. A point now and then chugging us along is good, but the 3 points change. I think if you get maybe 9 points between now and the end of the season, you can pretty much call us safe, I think. But a difficult run coming up against the likes of Ipswich. But I do maybe think that Eustace might set us up better against these better sides than John Del Thomason did. Thomason tried to out football teams that were better at playing football than we were. So if Eustace comes up with this more direct style, that might be a bit more prosperous for us, I'd like to think.
It was 4-3 at Portman Road, this reverse fixture, so let's hope it's going to be more of the same. Harry, does it not just highlight the fact that in the last 5 games, Ipswich have had 8 different goal scorers? How many different goal scorers do you think Blackburn have had in those same 5 games?
Well, I think it's probably only one.
It's one. That's right. Yeah. Does that not just highlight what the issue is here, that the midfield aren't chipping in?
Well, I think that's a side that are right up there when goals come from all over the place. If you get goals from midfielders, if your defenders can chip in with a few from set pieces, it makes the world of difference. Uh, it does seem that Sammy Smodics, if he doesn't score, then no one scores, which is we've kind of got away with because he always seems to score, but he will have games where he won't score. And we do need the likes of, I know Arnold Sigurdsson's just got out on a long-term injury, but Gallagher needs to score, Dolan needs to score, Ryan Hedges needs to score a few more goals from deeper in the midfield as well. Yeah, we can't be too reliant on one player for the goals. But yeah, we seem to be at the minute.
All right, Ian, then Ipswich are flying. You've got a massive game coming up in a weekend time at Carrow Road. So this is your last away game before that. What's the latest in terms of players available, players injuries? What sort of shape do you think Town are going to be in heading to Ewood?
well, I think Wes Burns is the one. I wouldn't say he's a doubt. I'd say he's out. His Instagram post would point at the fact that he's got a hamstring injury that will probably take longer to heal than we have left in the season. Our strength at the moment for Ipswich is the depth. We've got ability to cover Wes Burns on that wing. Ideally, it would have been Amari Hutchinson, but he had to step in last week for Connor Chaplin, who himself was not well. So I'm hoping that Connor will be back to full fitness, and then we'll either have Amari or Caden Jackson on that right wing. So they're the only injuries at the moment. Obviously, we've got Kiefer Moore and Broadhead who'll be playing for Wales this week. Let's hope they come out of that unscathed. And Cameron Burgess, I think, played this morning against Lebanon for Australia. I think he's come out unscathed, as has Sarmiento from his game with Ecuador. So, yeah, it's a difference from a couple of international breaks ago where we did actually lose 2 players for injuries.
And Rovers fans will be desperate to know, how's Lewis Travis done for you?
He's been brilliant when he came to us. His first game into the club, he was phenomenal. But then he went into the club's rotation and he hasn't been able to dominate a starting position. He hasn't been able to say that that's me, but that's very much the way Kieran McKenna works. Whether he will start on Friday, I don't know. There's every chance he could, because it depends how Kieran wants to play it for the Southampton game. I would potentially see him as playing, to be honest, because I think he might want to rest Massimo Luongo so that he and Sammy Morsey together are at their full fitness when we play Southampton, because we know that their strength at Southampton through the middle, pushing on to Armstrong, is going to need, it's going to need us to dominate the midfield. But yeah, it's very difficult to predict an Ipswich starting 11 where we've had an international break, to be honest.
Okay. Harry, back to you and just talk about some of the little bits of stuff off the field. Leeds are charging Blackburn £47, I think, for an adult ticket, which the club have stepped in and are going to subsidise it. What's your view on that? Is it ever right for a club in the Championship to charge another set of fans £47?
Well, I think it's ridiculous, and that's not just from the perspective of a skint uni student. I think that football lives and dies on its fans. If there's no fans there, then what's the point? The fans come, that's the whole point in the sport, I think. And it's ridiculous. I don't want to get too sort of away from football, but finances in general, sort of just coming out of the cost of living crisis, people haven't got that much disposable income. And you're charging 50 quid for people to go watch their team, and that's paying their money to go watch their team on the Saturday is an escape for a lot of people. But if you're charging 50 quid, I think it's ridiculous. I think you've got to be looking back. I think 20 is the most you should be looking to pay, and I think if you pay less, more fans will come. That's the problem with Rovers. Rovers have struggled to get gates in. But some games are charged extensive amounts for tickets. It's not a particularly wealthy area. People struggle to afford that kind of money. So I think it should definitely be cheaper. I think it's at 50 quid is an outrage.
We spoke to a Leeds fan earlier on the Leeds Terrace talk, who said, well, it's because Blackburn didn't agree the reciprocal arrangements at the start of the year, so did charge Leeds fans when they visited a little bit more. But I don't think it was to the tune of £47. I'm pretty sure it wasn't. So yeah, if you're a Blackburn fan, comment below what you think of that Leeds deal, and whether you'll still be travelling. Are you going to be going to Ellen Roads based on the subsidy, or?
Yeah, well, that's the plan. I was supposed to be going, but it's difficult to to warrant the plucking out 50 quid for a ticket. Obviously, I'd like to go. Ellen Road's not a ground that I've been to before, and that may be why, because it's too expensive to go. Yeah. So yeah, mate. Hopefully.
Okay. All right then. Finally, then let's ask you both about club versus country. So we're gearing up for the Euros now. So it's naturally reared its head, this classic old question of club versus country. Harry, would you sooner see Blackburn be promoted to the Premier League or England win the Euros?
Without a doubt, Blackburn promoted, and it's not even close. Not even close at all. I mean, obviously, England do. If England win, then sure, I'm happy about that. But I suppose I've got English and Irish connections. I don't really have an allegiance to one nation. I sort of support them both. but it's in the international tournaments before. As soon as they're knocked out, I'm really not that fussed. I don't have the same connection with them because I'm watching. It's a team that you watch twice every 4 years, whereas a team you're watching week in, week out. I'd rather anything for Blackburn over England. I've got to say that might be selfish, but I've not seen us win as much as a raffle in the 20 years of supporting them. So it would be nice to see us do something.
Ian, same to you. Ipswich promotion or England Euros?
Yeah, Ipswich promotion all day. And technically, I'm actually a Scotland fan anyway. But until any manager in the England job is willing to actually look outside the Premier League, I don't have that much kind of sympathy for any result they gain, especially when we know that there are weaknesses in their team. But yeah, Ipswich promotion is going to be the number one interest for me over any other fixture.
Okay. All right, let's get some predictions from you then. So despite Ipswich's superb campaign so far, terrible record at Ewood Park, haven't won there in the league since 1991. So will that all change on Good Friday? Harry, you're at home, so you can have first pick.
Yeah, well, like I mentioned earlier, I think that maybe Eustace might set us up better against the big sides than John Dale Thomason did, just because of that sort of be a bit more solid, a bit more stable, not trying to play the same football as Ipswich can play with, because we know Ipswich are better than us at playing football. Yeah, Ewood Park, we've done all right there. I mean, we've not been winning, but we've not been losing, which is the most important thing at the minute. I think our most recent defeats have both been on the road. I don't think Eustace has lost a game at Ewood yet. Obviously, this is our toughest test so far since Eustace has come in. Heart says that we may pick up a point. Head says it's probably unlikely. I think Ipswich will go on and win.
Not 4-3 though. Yeah.
2-0, I think, most likely.
Thanks, Harry. Ian?
Yeah, I mean, we've been scoring 19 goals in 6 games, but one thing about Blackburn is they know how to stifle strong teams. Yeah, we saw that against Newcastle, against Norwich when they started that form, against Mill when they went into the resurgence. I'd like to think we can get a clean sheet. I'd love to say it'd be 3-0, but I think that the situation probably says it's going to be 2-0 to Ipswich, unless Sammy Smog can pop his head up in there and make it 2-1. But yeah, I'm going to go same as Harry, a 2-0 away win for Ipswich. And just kind of fingers crossed that, because it's a tea-time fixture, that we already know the fate of both Leicester and Leeds and Southampton.
All right. Thank you very much, both. And thank you all Rovers fans for watching. If you haven't yet done so, please hit that subscribe button. It really, really helps us grow this channel. And if any of you want to come on and talk with Harry about any of the remaining 6 games, look in the email address and drop us an email. Drop me and Harry an email and let us know that you'd like to come on and chat, and we'll gladly have you on here in the following weeks. Thank you very much. Enjoy the game, both of you, and we'll catch up with you next week.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.